Welcome, dreamer. Welcome to the Sleepy Soul stories. Like and subscribe. Sleepy Soul is a cinematic journey into dreams, where each story feels like falling asleep to poetry. The channel's purpose is to help listeners unwind, reduce anxiety, and ease them into sleep through immersive storytelling paired with soft ambient soundscapes. Episode 1: The Sleeper's Arrival. Welcome, dreamer. You've found your way back to Sleepy Soul. Tonight, we drift together, away from the noise of the waking world, into a realm where time slows and hearts remember what peace feels like. Take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Every sound you hear is an invitation to rest. Now, let the night take you home. The bridge between worlds. The night unfolded like a curtain of silk. Clouds drifted lazily across the sky, and beneath them stretched an endless plain of mist, glowing faintly with the light of unseen stars. From the horizon, a figure appeared, quiet, deliberate, and slow. He was known only as the Sleeper, a traveler not of distance, but of dreams. His cloak shimmered like water. His footsteps made no sound. Every step he took brought him closer to the edge of the waking world, and closer to the bridge that no map could show. The bridge was not built of stone or wood, but of memory. Each plank beneath his feet was made from a moment, a laugh, a sigh, a wish once whispered before sleep. As he stepped forward, the mists curled around him like hands offering comfort. He did not hurry. He had crossed this bridge countless times. Yet each journey felt new, because no dream was ever the same twice. Ahead, he could see it. A faint light, golden, soft, and pulsing like a heartbeat. The entrance to the dream realm. The valley of still water. When the Sleeper crossed the final step, the bridge dissolved behind him like breath on glass. He stood beside a wide river, still as a mirror. The air smelled of jasmine and old rain. In the water's surface, he could see reflections not of himself, but of the dreams waiting to be born. A child's laughter echoed faintly, a mother's song, the sound of waves meeting sand. He knelt beside the water and whispered, "Which dream shall I walk tonight?" The river rippled, and from its calm surface rose a faint shape, a silver boat with no sail. It glowed with the same light that filled the Sleeper's eyes. He stepped inside, and the river began to move, slowly, gently, carrying him into the valley's heart. Above, stars gathered like watchful eyes. Below, the water reflected galaxies too numerous to count. The boat floated past tall willows that swayed in rhythm with the night. Their leaves whispered secrets. Let go of what hurt you. Remember what healed you. The Dreammaker's village. The boat reached a shore made of soft light. Before him stretched a small village, silent but alive. Houses were built from starlight and dreams. Their windows glowed faintly blue, as if each one held someone's sleeping heart. The Sleeper walked slowly through narrow paths paved with moon petals. He passed a market stall where the wind sold whispers to the trees. He passed a fountain that sang only when no one watched. And then he came to the center of the village, where an old clock tower stood. His hands did not move with time. They moved with thoughts. Every time a human in the waking world exhaled before sleep, the clock chimed softly, sending ripples through the dream village. The Sleeper raised his hand and touched the tower's side. Instantly, hundreds of glowing threads appeared, each thread connecting a dreamer in the mortal world to their resting place in the dream realm. He could feel them. A teacher in Tokyo, slowly closing her eyes after grading papers. A sailor in the Atlantic, finding calm on the water's lull. A child in Cairo, drifting into a world where her kite could touch the moon. The sleeper smiled. Tonight they would all rest safely. The field of forgotten wishes. The sleeper continued walking until he reached a field covered in tiny glowing lights. Each light was a wish, one that had never been spoken aloud. Some flickered faintly, some glowed strong and steady. He knelt and cupped one in his hands. It shimmered, showing him the image of an old man, smiling sadly at a letter he'd never sent. "I wish I had told her how much she meant to me," the wish whispered. The sleeper closed his hands and blew gently, sending the light upward. It floated into the stars, joining others that had finally found release. "All wishes find their way home," he murmured. As he rose, the wind shifted, carrying the scent of warm tea and distant rain. The dream world was preparing for dawn. The sleeper made his way back to the river. The silver boat awaited him, still glowing softly. He stepped inside, closed his eyes, and let the current carry him backward, toward the bridge that connected dream and waking. But before he crossed it, he whispered a promise to the wind. "Tomorrow night, I will return, for every soul who needs rest." The river shimmered, and with one last sigh, the dream dissolved into the mist. "You are safe now, dreamer. You are loved. The sleeper has arrived, and he carries your worries away. Let your body sink into stillness. Let your breath find its rhythm. Sleep deeply. Dream gently. The river of stars beyond the bridge of mist, beyond the whispering fields, to a place where stars become water and memories become light. Let your breath slow. Let your eyes grow heavy. With every sound, drift deeper into the quiet rhythm of your own heartbeat. Tonight you will float upon the river of stars. The call of the night sky, far beyond the valley of still water, beyond the dreammaker's village. The sleeper awoke in a place he had never seen before. Above him, the sky shimmered, not dark, not light, but infinite. Stars hung low, swaying gently, as if they were curious about the traveler below. The ground beneath him was soft and glowing, like sand made of moonlight, and from the horizon came a quiet sound, a flowing, murmuring voice that was neither river nor wind, but something in between. It whispered his name. "Sleeper." He turned and saw it. A silver path stretching far into the night. It moved like water, shimmered like stars, and breathed like life itself. The river of stars. And it was calling him. Entering the flow, the sleeper stepped closer. The current was silent, yet he could feel its pulse, like a heart hidden beneath the surface. He knelt and touched it. Instantly, warmth spread through his body, a gentle tide rising from his fingertips to his chest, filling him with something ancient and kind. The moment he stepped into the river, he did not sink or swim. He floated weightless, effortless, timeless. The stars beneath him began to move, carrying him forward. Every droplet of light shimmered with a story. He could hear them, faint whispers, echoes of dreams once dreamt. "I wish I could see her one last time. Let me find peace in what I cannot change. May tomorrow be gentle." Each voice drifted past him like the wind, fading into the glow of the stars. The river carried millions of souls, each one a sleeping heart, dreaming in the mortal world. Their hopes flowing here like constellations come alive. The memory lights the sleeper floated for what felt like hours, or perhaps only moments. Time did not exist here. Then he saw something new, a cluster of brighter lights, circling around one another, weaving patterns like dancers in slow motion. Curious, he reached toward them. As his hand brushed the glowing current, images unfolded. A girl releasing a lantern into a lake. A boy laughing as snow fell for the first time. An old woman sitting by a window, whispering a prayer to the stars. These were memories, carried here by those who still believed in beauty, even when the world forgot. The sleeper closed his eyes. He let the river carry him through their warmth, through their sadness, through their grace. And for a moment he remembered what it meant to be human. The keeper of the flow. As the sleeper drifted deeper, a new light emerged, brighter than all others, steady and calm. It was not a star. It was a being, neither man nor woman, clothed in threads of pure starlight. The keeper of the flow. They stood upon the water, their reflection rippling outward like a heartbeat. "You have come far," the keeper said. Their voice was not sound, but feeling soft, like a touch on the soul. The sleeper bowed his head. "I seek to understand," he replied. "Why do the stars flow as rivers? Why do the dreams return here?" The keeper smiled, not with lips, but with light. "Because dreams are never lost," they said. "When hearts grow weary, when hope fades, the dreams come here to rest, to be polished by the current, to shine once more before they return." The sleeper listened, watching the stars ripple beneath their feet. "And what becomes of those who no longer dream?" he asked quietly. The keeper's light dimmed slightly. "They walk the world awake, but asleep inside. They forget the sky within them. You," the keeper said gently, "remind them." A silence followed, vast, kind, infinite. Long ambient pause, river sounds and faint hum. The keeper raised a hand, and from the river rose a single bright sphere, pure, shimmering, alive. "Take this," they said. "It is a spark from the heart of the river. Wherever you travel, it will remind the lost ones that the stars still wait for them." The sleeper took the light, holding it close to his chest. It pulsed once, then dissolved into him, leaving behind only warmth. "Thank you," he whispered. "Go," said the keeper, their voice fading. "The dawn approaches." Return to stillness. The current shifted, growing softer. The sleeper felt himself slowing, rising gently toward the surface. Around him, the stars began to fade, not disappear, but melt into a gentle silver mist. He drifted to the riverbank, stepping onto soft ground made of moon dust. Above him, the horizon glowed faintly, the dream world's dawn. He turned back toward the river and whispered, "I will carry your light." The stars shimmered once, as if answering him. Then, as the first warmth of waking touched the sky, the sleeper began walking back toward the bridge between worlds. His heart calm, his path glowing faintly beneath his feet. You floated upon the river of stars, the place where all forgotten hopes shine again. Whatever the world took from you today, let it dissolve into light. Let your breath become the current, your thoughts the stars. You are safe. You are home. You are already dreaming. Until the next night, when we drift once more in another dream. The Lighthouse of Lost Memories. Tonight's story carries us to the edge of the dream sea, where waves touch the forgotten, and a lone lighthouse keeps watch over memories too quiet to be heard. Let your breath move like the tide. In and out. You are safe. You are drifting. Let us begin our journey to the Lighthouse of Lost Memories. The sea of silence. The sleeper stood upon a cliff that overlooked an endless sea. The air was cool, heavy with salt and stillness. Far below, waves moved in slow rhythm, as if the ocean itself were dreaming. The sky was a deep, dusky violet, scattered with pale stars. Clouds drifted like ancient ships, sailing toward forgotten horizons. And there, far in the distance, he saw it, a faint light pulsing through the fog. Not bright, not constant, but steady, a heartbeat in the mist. The lighthouse, it stood on a lone island, surrounded by a sea that glowed faintly, as if the water remembered every tear ever shed into it. The sleeper began his descent toward the shore, his path lit by the ghostly shimmer of shells that hummed softly underfoot. The journey across, at the edge of the water, waited a small boat, old, yet untouched by time. Its sail was woven from strands of moonlight, its hull made of silver driftwood. The sleeper stepped in, and without wind, without oars, the boat began to move, gliding silently across the calm surface. The stars above reflected perfectly in the sea below, so that he seemed to be floating between two skies. The deeper he drifted, the thicker the fog became. And in that fog, he began to hear whispers, faint, trembling, lost voices calling out names. Some were soft as lullabies, others cracked with longing. Mother, don't forget me. I wish I could go back. These were memories, echoing from souls who had lost their way between dream and wake. The sleeper closed his eyes and listened. He placed his hand upon the water and whispered softly, "You are remembered." And as he said it, the fog glowed faintly, each whisper turning into a tiny spark of light, floating upward toward the lighthouse ahead. The lighthouse, the boat, touched the rocky shore with a sound like a sigh. The island was small, covered in white stones that glowed like old bones in the moonlight. The lighthouse towered above, tall, weathered, and radiant from within. Its walls seemed alive, pulsing gently with each memory it held. The sleeper climbed the winding steps, his fingers brushing the cold railing. Along the walls he saw visions, faint images moving in the light. A woman holding her child for the last time before war took her away. A boy releasing a bird from his window, whispering, "Come back someday." An old man sitting beside a bed, smiling through tears at a photograph. Each image shimmered, faded, and returned to the glow within the walls. These were the lost memories, forgotten by those who once lived them, kept safe by the lighthouse until they were ready to be remembered again. As the sleeper reached the top, he found a room bathed in soft golden light. In its center burned a lamp, not of flame but of pure memory. The lamp's glow was made of countless tiny lights, each one flickering in rhythm with a heartbeat somewhere in the waking world. The sleeper approached it slowly, reverently. The keeper of the light, by the lamp stood an old woman, her hair white as sea foam, her eyes reflecting both sorrow and peace. She smiled when she saw him. "You've come far, sleeper." "Who are you?" he asked. "I am the keeper," she said, "the one who remembers what others forget." She turned to the lamp. Each light is a memory that someone left behind. A song unsung, a letter never written, a moment too painful to keep. "Why do you guard them?" he asked softly. "Because forgetting is not the same as letting go," she replied. "When the time is right, the memories return. Lighter, gentler, ready to heal." The sleeper looked into the lamp. He saw faces, lovers who had drifted apart, friends lost to distance, children grown too soon. And among them he saw one light that called to him, faint but familiar. He reached toward it, and in a vision he saw himself, standing alone by a quiet lake, holding the hand of someone who no longer existed in the waking world. He felt no pain, only peace. The keeper spoke softly. "Even the dreamers carry their own forgotten light. Tonight you've remembered yours." The sleeper nodded, eyes shining. "What will happen to them, to all these memories?" "They will guide those who wander," she said. "Each night, a few will return, carried on the waves to those who are ready to remember." The dawn and return. The keeper turned the lamp once, and its light grew brighter, shining through the fog, reaching far across the dream sea. From the distance came the faint sound of sighs turning to laughter, as forgotten memories found their way home. "Go now," she whispered. "The night is ending." The sleeper descended the stairs slowly, the golden glow following him like a promise. Outside, the fog was fading, the first soft blush of dream dawn coloring the horizon. He stepped back into his silver boat, the sea calm beneath him. As he drifted away, he looked back at the lighthouse, now shining brighter than the stars above it. It stood, eternal, holding the memories of all who had ever loved and lost. And as he closed his eyes, he heard the keeper's voice on the wind. "Sleep well, dreamer. You are remembered too." The lighthouse of lost memories still stands, its light forever guiding weary hearts home. Tonight, let go of what you no longer need to hold. Your memories are safe. Your dreams are waiting. You are loved. You are light. Until the next night when we drift again. In another dream. The river of stars, the mist thinned as the traveler took another step forward. What awaited him was unlike anything the waking world could imagine. Before him stretched a vast river made entirely of light. Not water, but a flowing current of stars. Each ripple shimmered with dreams that had drifted loose from sleeping minds across the world. Some glowed softly like forgotten wishes. Others sparkled bright and then faded, like sighs released into peace. He stood at the edge, and the soft breeze smelled faintly of jasmine and rain. The air hummed not with sound but with memory. It was as if the stars themselves whispered lullabies from the depths of the current. He knelt, his reflection made of scattered constellations, and dipped his hand into the river. It wasn't cold. It wasn't wet. It felt like touching time itself, smooth, slow, endless. As he gazed deeper, he began to see shapes forming within the glow. Faint silhouettes of people, dreams, and places he had once known but forgotten. There was the old swing that hung from a walnut tree, the candlelight from the window of his childhood home, a pair of eyes that once smiled at him under a lantern sky, Every soul, whispered the river, sends its light here when it sleeps. Every dream is a star, floating until it finds rest. The traveler closed his eyes and listened. Beneath the hum of starlight, he could hear fragments of millions of sleeping hearts, their laughter, their sorrow, their hopes breathing softly through the currents. He realized then that this was not the end of his journey, but its reflection. The river did not separate life from dreams. It connected them, weaving them together like silk threads of moonlight. He looked down again and saw his own light beginning to shimmer in the water. A small, pale star rising slowly from his chest, pulsing gently in rhythm with his breath. "You've carried your waking burdens far enough," the river said. "Let them go. They were never meant to cross the stars." He exhaled, and as he did, the weight of every worry, every regret, every unspoken word drifted from him like falling feathers. The current welcomed them, dissolving them into dusts of light. The air around him deepened into a tranquil silence. The stars above and the stars below blurred together until he could no longer tell which was sky and which was river. And slowly, his body began to float. The current lifted him gently, carrying him downstream. He felt no fear, only peace so vast it silenced thought. He drifted through constellations of memory and moonlight, the soft hum of dreams guiding him forward. "Sleep now, traveler," whispered the voice of the river. "You have crossed far enough to rest." The dream beyond the river, the traveler floated for what felt like an eternity. No sound of footsteps, no weight of time, only the rhythm of starlight carrying him deeper into the current. He did not sleep, nor was he awake. He simply was. When the river finally slowed, he felt the soft touch of ground beneath him again. He opened his eyes. The world that met him was silent, but alive. He stood on a field made of glowing mist, where the grass shimmered like moonlit silk. Above him, the sky wasn't black or blue but an ocean of shifting color. Violet, silver, and rose, flowing together like watercolor dreams. And instead of clouds, there were drifting lanterns, millions of them, floating freely, each carrying a faint whisper. He turned slowly, feeling the soft ground beneath his bare feet. Each step released tiny sparks of light, as if the land itself was welcoming him. A voice, gentle and distant, spoke. "You have crossed the river, dreamer. Welcome to the space between memory and beginning." The traveler turned, and before him stood a woman made of light. Not blinding, but soft, like the last glow of sunset before night fully claims the sky. Her hair shimmered like starlight through water, and her eyes reflected constellations unknown to humankind. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice barely more than breath. "I am the keeper," she replied, her tone calm, infinite. "I tend the dreams that have forgotten their sleepers. I am what waits when you finally let go." He stepped closer, feeling the warmth of her presence. "Am I dreaming?" She smiled faintly. "You are within what dreams of you." Her words rippled through the air like soft wine through glass. The traveler felt them more than he understood them. She gestured, and from the mist rose a mirror-like pool, perfectly still. "Look within," she said. He did, and what he saw was not his reflection, not entirely. He saw every version of himself that had ever existed. The child who dreamed without fear. the youth who lost faith, the man who carried burdens that weren't his to bear. Each of them smiled at him, one by one, before dissolving into the light. Each reflection is a dream that believed it was real, said the keeper. And every dreamer forgets that they too are a reflection of something greater. He looked up at her again. Then who dreams me? Her eyes softened, and for the first time her glow dimmed, not with sadness, but with truth. You do. Every time you sleep, you return here, shaping yourself from silence. You are the dreamer and the dream both. The words settled around him like falling snow. He felt something awaken, not memory, but peace. The kind of peace that only comes when nothing more needs to be understood. She reached out, and her hand hovered just above his chest. A soft warmth spread from within, and his pulse slowed to the rhythm of the universe itself. Your journey is not ending, she said, her voice fading like wind through leaves. It is only resting. The stars above him dimmed. The lanterns drifted upward, one by one, returning to the endless sky. And as their light faded, the traveler lay down upon the glowing mist. He closed his eyes. He could still feel the pulse of the river, the hum of the stars, the keeper's words echoing through him. You are the dreamer and the dream both. The world grew quiet. The colors dissolved into darkness, not emptiness, but rest. And then, with the gentlest breath, the dream let go of him. The awakening of dawn, the silence stretched like eternity, deep, soft, sacred. Somewhere far beyond the edge of sleep, a faint warmth began to stir. At first, it was only a whisper, the quiet flutter of light against the dark. Then, like the breath of the world itself, dawn began to bloom. The traveler's eyes, still closed, sensed it before he saw it. The darkness was not gone, but it had changed, growing lighter with every heartbeat. The mist that once shimmered silver now rippled with threads of gold. The air filled with the soft murmur of wind, carrying the distant call of morning birds, faint but real. He took a breath. It was the first conscious breath since the river, and it was full of scent and memory and the weightless clarity of peace. The voice of the keeper lingered faintly in his mind, softer now, like a memory fading into sunlight. You are both the dreamer and the dream. When you awaken, do not forget what it means to rest. He slowly opened his eyes. He was no longer in the world of glowing mist or starry rivers. Instead, he found himself lying on the quiet shore of a real river, the kind that glitters under the rising sun. The water moved gently, rippling with light. Birds drifted above, their wings catching the first amber rays of day. For a long moment he said nothing. He simply listened. Every sound, the rustle of grass, the soft hum of insects, the distant whisper of trees, felt alive in a way it hadn't before. The world was the same, yet completely transformed. It was as though the dream had not ended, but had merged quietly into reality. He sat up slowly, running his hand through the cool morning grass. Dew clung to his fingers like starlight left behind. He looked across the horizon, and for just a heartbeat, he saw it again, the faint outline of the keeper standing in the mist smiling. Then she was gone. "Thank you," he whispered, though no one was there to hear it. The sky deepened into soft pink and gold. He rose to his feet, feeling lighter, freer. not because the world had changed, but because he had. He turned away from the river and began walking. Each step was slow, steady, mindful, like learning to live again after remembering how to dream. As he walked, the faintest trace of a melody seemed to follow him, the same tune that had echoed in the river of stars. It drifted through the air, wrapping around the morning like mist, fading only when the sun fully rose. And in that light the traveler smiled. The journey through dreams had not been an escape. It had been a return, a quiet coming home. As dawn awakens, so do you. The dream may fade, but its peace remains. You are the sleeper, the dreamer, and the soul that rests between both worlds. Until we meet again, in another dream, sleep well, dreamer. Every night is a journey back to peace. Subscribe for more dream stories. Relax, breathe, sleep,